Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a truly silent invader. We're talking about colon cancer. To give you an idea of the sheer scale here, it's actually the #1 cancer in Japan overall. And the crazy part? It grows entirely in the shadows. We're talking about a disease that takes root and spreads without giving you a single symptom or warning sign until it's incredibly advanced. But the power to stop it lies in understanding it.
All right, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting the shocking truth, terrifying gut bacteria, a diet that shortens life, an unexpected gum disease cause, and we'll wrap it all up with ultimate cancer prevention. So part 1, the shocking truth. This is a hidden threat that absolutely no one can afford to ignore, no matter how healthy you might feel today. Look at these grim statistics. Colon cancer isn't just the leading cancer overall in Japan, but it's actually the #1 cause of cancer-related deaths for women. Yes, surpassing even breast cancer. And those numbers, they are just climbing every single year. Now, a lot of people walk around thinking, well, my digestion is fine, I don't have stomach aches, I'm not constipated, so I'm perfectly safe. We've got to shatter that misconception right now. Feeling totally fine does not mean you're in the clear.
Let's see how this actually builds, because cancer doesn't just pop up overnight, right? It's a really slow, insidious process. Step 1, you have a gatekeeper gene in your colon, something like the APC gene, that manages cell growth. But bad lifestyle habits actually damage this gatekeeper. So step 2, without that gatekeeper, cells start multiplying out of control. Step 3, this forms a benign polyp. Now, it's completely harmless at first, but step 4, if you leave it alone for years, new mutations stuck up, and that quiet little polyp suddenly turns its fangs on you and becomes a malignant tumor. It's kind of like weeds in a field. Pull the tiny weeds early and your field thrives. Ignore them. Their roots dig deep and they literally rot the whole field from the inside out.
Okay, so what's actually causing that initial damage to our gatekeeper gene? Let's move to part 2, terrifying gut bacteria. The danger might literally be lurking right inside your own gut.
Meet PKS positive E. coli. When we hear gut bacteria, we usually just think of vague good and bad bacteria, right? But this is a very specific direct threat. This bacteria produces a super powerful toxin called colobactin. And colobactin acts exactly like a pair of biological scissors. It goes in and physically snips and destroys the DNA of your colon's gatekeeper genes. It's actively sabotaging your colon's built-in defense system.
Now, what's truly alarming here is just how common this threat is. Recent research shows that a staggering 50% of Japanese colon cancer patients have this exact DNA damage caused by colobactin. 50%. To put that into perspective, the global average sits at just 19%. This bacteria is a massive, disproportionate threat operating silently inside millions of people.
So the crucial takeaway is this. This bacteria is exactly like termites inside a beautiful house. From the outside, the house looks amazing. You feel perfectly healthy. Your bowel movements are totally regular. But inside, those termites are silently chewing through the foundational pillars. You don't hear them, you don't feel them. Countless patients report feeling absolutely fantastic right up until they notice a tiny bit of blood. Go to the doctor, and boom, discover they already have stage 3 cancer that's spread to their lymph nodes.
We know the bacteria is dangerous, but how does it get so powerful? That brings us to part 3, diet that shortens life. Let's explore how our everyday food choices might literally be feeding these terrifying bacteria. Consider this stark comparison. The World Health Organization classifies processed meats, we're talking sausages, bacon, ham, as Group 1. That is the highest risk category, putting it right alongside things like tobacco and asbestos for cancer risk. Eating just 50 grams a day, which is barely 2 sausages, spikes your colon cancer risk by 18%. On the flip side, red meat is Group 2A, which is a probable risk. So no, you don't have to quit red meat entirely, but science heavily recommends limiting it to about 500 grams weekly. That's about 70 grams a day or roughly 1 palm-sized steak.
And here's exactly why a diet high in animal fat is so dangerous. It triggers this devastating chain reaction. Step 1, you eat high amounts of animal fat. Step 2, your body has to secrete massive amounts of bile acids just to digest it. Step 3, your gut bacteria get a hold of those acids and actually convert them into secondary bile acids. Finally, step 4, these secondary acids are incredibly harsh. They directly burn and damage the colon wall, causing chronic inflammation. Plus, a high-fat, low-fiber diet basically starves your good bacteria, giving those termite bacteria the ultimate toxic playground to multiply and thrive.
Which brings us to ultra-processed foods. Cup noodles, sweet drinks, snack breads. These foods are packed with artificial emulsifiers and additives. See, your colon naturally has a protective mucus layer, acting just like a moat around a castle to keep invaders out. But emulsifiers literally dissolve that mucus layer. It's exactly like draining the water from a castle's moat, leaving the walls completely defenseless against attack. It leaves your colon walls totally exposed so that dangerous bacteria can directly touch, inflame, and damage your cells.
All right, we've covered the gut and the diet. Now let's move to part 4, an unexpected cause, gum disease. This is probably the most surprising revelation of this whole explainer.
I want you to really think about this for a second. What on earth could the inside of your mouth possibly have to do with getting cancer in your colon? I mean, they seem worlds apart, right? Well, the answer is a bacteria called Fusobacterium nucleatum. It's a bacteria responsible for gum disease. And researchers are now finding this exact mouth bacteria inside colon cancer tumors. So how does it get down there? Well, if you leave inflamed, bleeding gums untreated, this bacteria uses your saliva or your bloodstream as a highway to travel all the way down to your colon. Once it arrives, it acts like flying sparks from a campfire, landing on your colon cells, supercharging inflammation and fueling tumor growth. It really proves that oral care isn't just about your teeth, it's absolutely critical for your whole body health. So we know the hidden culprits now, the silent polyps, the DNA-snipping E. coli, the processed meats, the moat-draining emulsifiers, and that traveling mouth bacteria. Now let's shift gears to part 5, ultimate cancer prevention. Let's take back control. Before we even get to the checklist, we have to talk about sleep. Your body runs on a 24-hour clock, and this clock doesn't just manage when you feel sleepy, it actually controls cellular division and DNA repair. When you lack sleep or your biological clock is disrupted, say by night shift work, which, by the way, the WHO also lists as a group 2A cancer risk, you severely limit melatonin. Melatonin doesn't just make you tired, it acts as a really powerful antioxidant that helps fix your cells. Without consistent sleep, your body simply can't repair the daily damage to your colon.
Okay, let's dive into this checklist. Here's how you build your armor. First, diet. You don't need to be perfect here, just swap one ultra-processed food a day for something high fiber or fermented. Think beans, seaweed, oats, or miso. Protect that moat. Second, sleep. Aim for over 7 hours of consistent sleep to repair your DNA. Pro tip, keep your phone out of the bedroom so the light doesn't wreck your melatonin. Third, the dentist. Go every 3 to 6 months for a cleaning. Stop that gum bacteria from ever entering your bloodstream in the first place. And finally, the absolute most important step. Get a colonoscopy at least once after you turn 50. Remember those silent weeds? A colonoscopy is exactly how you find and pull them before they ruin the field.
I want to leave you with this final thought. Colon cancer is overwhelmingly common, yes, but it's also one of the most preventable cancers in the world if you catch it early and manage your lifestyle. Knowing that a silent threat could be growing without a single symptom, what is one simple step you will take today to change your future? Seriously, pick just one thing from that checklist. And please, share this information with your friends and family. It really might just save their lives. Thanks so much for learning with us today.